Data-driven decision making is another term that
Yep.
we use. Why is that a term that we take into clients?
It's mostly because, and something probably about me, a lot of operations are run on experience and gut feel.
Okay.
We find, and you find this with a lot of contact centres where the person who's generally running the contact centre's been there forever, or you've got team leaders that have been there forever, and they will always go, "Oh, well, it's always been like this, and this, no, that won't, but this does like this," and it's like, that's great, and that might have been true 5-10 years ago, but you've done so many different transformation projects, you've changed customer base, all these things have changed, and you've not changed anything. So therefore, you have to kind of, we always take it back to the data, because the data moves over time and always gives you the most recent picture of what's happening. Whereas people, and everybody's guilty of it, us included, you get stuck in that's the way I do it, and therefore that's how it is. But the data underneath might have changed, and you're going, oh, wait a minute, now I need to change what I'm doing because the data set's telling me something different. And that's why we always refer to this data-driven decisions. Of any big decision you make in a contact centre should be data-driven.
Yep. Not gut feel.
No.
Yeah.
Not because that's how it's always been done.
Because 95% of the time...
true, but empirically false.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Because 90% of the time...
Quite the great man.
Yeah, gut feel wrong 90% of the time. It just really is.
Yeah. And this is where hindsight and insight really shows its true colours, because if you are set up with the right... If your hindsight data is spot on and you know exactly what's going on, making those decisions becomes infinitely easier, and you can back it up with the data, and normally you can calculate the benefit you expect out of the back as well. There's no point making a change or making decisions without knowing why and what the benefit should be, what you expect to see out of the back of it. And with data and the right hindsight, that is all possible. So it's key for me. First step, baby step. Once your data's all sound and solid, like, you can run with it. You can make decisions.
And stand behind them.
Yeah. Spend some money if you like. Do whatever you need to do, but it's all backed up.
Yeah. But if you're making a foresight decision, so a forecasting decision of impact of something,
Yep.
at least you can draw a line back to exactly why you made the assumption that you made.
Yeah.
Because nobody can accurately predict the future. If I could, I wouldn't be sat here. I'd be on a beach somewhere having won the lotto 10 times over, type stuff. So you have to make an assumption because you don't know it. But at least if you can point the assumption back to, well, on these 3 occasions, a similar thing happened and this was the outcome. And therefore, if this happens again, we think this will be the outcome. That's fine. You can draw that back. If you go, I just think it's going to do that. And it's like, well, how did you come up with that number? Well, that's what I think it is. It's like, well, you were wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't become I made a decision based on the information and the evidence at hand. It becomes, you were just wrong. So it also protects the person making the decision to use the data, because they have that fallback of, this is what has happened, and therefore this is why I think this will happen. And then if it doesn't, you can usually find out what was different. But if you didn't use a basis for it to start with, then you don't really have a leg to stand on other than you guessed wrong.